Hello, friends, and welcome to this amazing webinar titled Addressing Practical Concerns of Distributors and Advisors on SIFs. Friends, SIFs have been gaining a lot of traction among MFD community. In fact, if I have to put some numbers, the total number of MFI registered SIF distributors have grown to 3,000, right? And also the AUM of SIF has also crossed 2,500 crore mark in just 1 month as on October. So clearly there has been a lot of traction for this product. But SIFs also comes with complexity. I know you have a lot of questions on SIF. So in this webinar, we will try to address all your queries related to SIFs. Hence, today we have invited our expert speaker, Syed Hassan, Chief Program Officer, CAMS. Syed brings 3 decades of experience across multiple business functions. He holds a bachelor's degree in physics, a master's degree in computer science, and has completed general management program from IIM Bangalore. So without wasting time, let me welcome Syed. So good evening, Syed, and welcome to the show.
Good evening, and thank you, Nishant, for having me here. And great to connect again on the topic of SIFs. I think our first session was focused on the SIF takeoffs, and now we are having the second one at the right time. Okay, like what you are mentioning, Nishant, 5 AMCs have launched SIFs. Okay, and 10 more in the pipeline to launch in the next 3 months. So we all know that it is bridging the gap between mutual funds and AIF PMS with flexible tactics. Okay, 25% unhedged derivatives, downside protection, etc. Very appealing. Okay, to the mid-ticket, high net worth investors who are ready to invest the 10 to 50 lakhs and want to outgrow the returns from arbitrage and BAFs. So looking forward, okay, to the discussions today, Nishant, and thanks for everyone who has joined this webinar with me and Nishant.
Great. So I would start this webinar with my first question, which may be on everyone's mind. So many MFDs are still in wait and watch mode and have not started distribution of SIFs. So why do you think that they cannot afford to miss this opportunity?
Okay, great question. Can MFDs continue to be in wait and watch mode? Okay, to answer this specific one, what happens, okay, if MFDs, our distributor friends, delay the entry into SIFs? Few things. One, losing commissions. It's a high growth category, okay, and it is very clear that it is going to hit a 2 lakh crore by 2027. Okay, it's the initial trajectory, initial numbers are clearly indicating that. And number two, losing market share. There is definitely a risk of our distributors losing market share to their own competitors. And SIFs are reaching 3,000 crore plus AUM as we speak now. 10,000 plus folios, okay, 10,000 people have already invested in SIFs. It's clearly showing a rapid early adoption with sophisticated investors seeking advanced strategies beyond traditional mutual funds. So you'll be losing your market share, okay, if you wait and watch. And number three, more important to know, more than 3,000 distributors have already cleared what was supposed to be that, within quotes, tough exam. And they've registered for SIFs already. So competition is going to be much more intense as more and more distributors are entering this space now. So as always, Nishant, okay, my favorite example is Apple. Okay, and I would look at it as an iPhone moment for our industry. Okay, for a mutual fund distributor, sitting out now, like you said, on a wait and watch mode, is like a Nokia distributor in 2007 saying that, let me wait and see if the iPhone is really taking off. And by the time they woke up from that wait and watch mode, the customer's default choice had shifted to iPhone. That's exactly the kind of situation that we are in. And I would guard, okay, all the mutual fund distributors, okay, friends on the call, not to be in the wait and watch mode anymore.
That's very apt way of putting, Syed. So my next question is related to this only. So I wanted to know the cost of avoiding or delaying participation in SIFs.
See, there are 3 silent costs of the delay. One, we spoke about lost revenue. 2, lost relevance. And I would say third is the lost referrals. The revenue part, see, SEBI had kept PMS minimum at rupees 50 lakh. We know that. And the
Mm,
AIF minimum at 1 crore, which means there is this big 10 lakh to 50 lakh no man's land, okay,
mm,
where
mm,
SIFs are fitting perfectly. And if even 10% of your current mutual
mm,
fund base of investors, the affluent base, even
mm,
if 10% migrates, okay, to SIF without you, with another distributor, then we are talking about a lifetime trail loss. Okay,
mm,
because each person will move with a 10 to 25 lakh kind of investment, and the loss that you will see is the loss in revenue. So the loss in relevance. Look at it this way: SIF AUM has already crossed 3,000 crores in less than 3.5 months. And more long short and hybrid SIFs are coming in. And it can easily become a lakh to 2 lakh crore AUM in the next 2 to 3 years. So you will lose your relevance if you're out of this game now. And on referrals, lost inflows. It will also compound. I spoke about the SIF registrations in AMFI. It has surged to 3,000 plus distributors now. And all these 3,000 and more will be crowding out the late entrants. Sorry, no more space, cannot come in. So I'm sure, Nishant, that the distributors in the meeting today do not want to lose out, okay, on the revenue, on
mm.
the relevance that I spoke about, and on the referrals. That will be the lost silent costs, Nishant.
Great, great answer, Sayed. So my next question is on everyone's mind today. So one of the major hindrances is the fear of not clearing the examination. Several MFDs have shared this concern with us. So how can they overcome this fear and prepare effectively for the exam?
Okay. So this exam continues to be a favorite topic
Mm,
in every SIF discussion. Okay, the NISM 13 exam, I would say, is tough enough. Okay,
mm,
but tough enough to be meaningful, but
mm,
simple to clear if there is a focused plan. And I don't know how many of you read today morning's newspaper, The Mint, which talks about SEBI and AMFI looking at how to simplify the exam further. We don't know how
mm,
long it will take. So my guidance will be to start preparing. And when
mm,
we are talking about the exam, it's a 3 hours exam, 150 marks, 150 questions, a 60% passing score, and a
mm,
25% negative marking. So if you
mm,
look at the content, it is mostly futures and options, basics, hedging, margins, risk management. See, all these topics that I was just mentioning about, you will need all of this for your SAF conversations with the clients.
mm,
So I would suggest a 3 week practical plan to clear the exam, okay, in 20 to 30 days.
mm,
Week one, log in, register to that NISM site, download the 3 workbooks, okay, and
mm,
read the workbooks in week one through self-study. Okay, it is about equity derivative, currency derivative, interest derivatives. Just go through it conceptually. Don't start mugging. Okay, that is week one, going through those 3 books.
mm,
Week two, reread only the futures, option strategy, and risk management chapters. Very important because a lot of questions tend to come from that. And in the same week, too, start solving 3 or 4 full mock tests. Okay, there are a
mm,
lot of free platforms which are there, which are widely available on the internet. Okay, Z Funds and many other sites, and also AMC sites are
mm,
having this. So use week two for revision and mock test. Week
mm,
three, revise the mistakes and correct yourself, register for the exam, and go for it.
mm,
Post the exam, the Amphi registration platform, which is hosted and run by CAMS, is
mm,
online and instant. Pay the fees, register, give your NSM detail, and do exactly what 3,000 plus distributors who have cleared the exam and registered have already done. So that
mm.
would be my game plan, Nishant, a 3 week game plan to prepare for this NISM exam and appear for it boldly, and it is possible for all the friends in the call to crack it.
Great, great. 3 weeks SIF license in. Great.
Yeah, it's like a fitness goal. Okay, 21 days for any fitness or any habit. Take it like a fitness challenge. Download, read, revise, and the mock test. If you're getting 100 out of 150 in the mock test, go register for the exam. Go for it. Okay,
Mm,
otherwise redo. Okay, go back and start running at 10K and 21Ks more. Yeah.
okay. Another major concern of distributor is that mutual funds, are relatively simple and based on straightforward principles, right? If market goes up, NAV rises, and so do the commissions. But SIFs are very different. So they offer downside protection that both MFDs and investors may not be familiar with currently. So in this scenario, how can MFDs navigate mindset up, shift, and develop strong product knowledge?
Got it. Very interesting question. And I think it is very important for distributors to understand this. See, it's like the habit. Okay, I was talking about the 21-day fitness challenge and getting into a habit. But
Hmm.
here, we all got trained on mutual funds to think in a straight line.
Hmm.
Market goes up, NAV goes up, commissions will go up. But
Hmm.
SIFs break that mental model because SIFs are allowed to take 25% of net assets in unhedged short
Hmm.
derivatives. Okay, and SIFs can run long short hybrid and other non-linear strategies.
Hmm.
So your language has to move, your thinking, mental model has to move from index kya karega to investment strategy. SIF ka investment strategy kya karega.
Hmm.
So MFD should shift from the NAV upside focus,
Hmm.
okay, by emphasizing the SIF's downward protection, which is available through the 25% shorts, naked shorts, and derivatives, unlike mutual funds. Okay,
Hmm.
so when you're talking to the investors, you should say that mutual funds participate mainly in market direction. SIFs participate both in direction and also in mispricing through long shorts, spreads, and options. So it's
Hmm.
not easy. Okay, it's important for MFDs to build this knowledge. I spoke about it in the NISM preparation question. It is important to build this knowledge through webinars and also going through the investment strategy documents of the AMCs for the specific schemes. It will detail the strategy like long short equity or the hybrid arbitrage plus for all market performance. Market goes up, market goes down. SIF will still perform. And it is
Hmm.
important to understand all of this. So you can explain to the client that, like, while a mutual fund is like a car that can only move forward, but SIF is like a car with a reverse gear and
Hmm.
better brakes. Still, the road is the same, the
Hmm.
traffic rules are the same, but you are in better control. Okay, so
Hmm.
that's SIF for you, which is different, very different from the linear mutual fund model.
Hmm. Hmm. Very aptly you put it, Sayed, very simply. So my next question is about simplicity per se. So you interact with a lot of MFDs and AMCs regarding SIFs. In your view, how can the industry make SIFs more simpler and more accessible for distributors?
Yeah. So I'll start with the home, the company that I work for, CAMS. Okay, and we have already made it very simple for
Hmm.
investors and distributors
Hmm.
by launching the required platforms and the required systems,
Hmm.
very similar to mutual funds, very, very similar. And we have
Hmm.
driven this standardization, kept it very simple by mirroring the same mutual fund workflows in SIFs also. Again, very similar APIs. So for the mutual fund distributors, the process will remain very mutual fund like processes, okay, operationally, but still you'll be SIF compliant. And thanks to SEBI has also done the right simplification moves. While there is a 10 lakh minimum, Nishant, for SIF that we are aware of,
Hmm.
it allows for all the mutual fund transactions. You can do your SIP, STP, SWP, as long as the total stays above that investment threshold of 10 lakhs. And a very clear risk band. I like the new 5 band risk categorization, okay, that SEBI has brought in, which is very similar but more precise than the MF riskometer. See on top, the ICID documents that I spoke about, the AMC's contribution. We spoke about CAMS, we spoke about SEBI, and the AMC's, the ICID documents, they are like a strategy label. Okay, it
Hmm.
clearly spell out whether it is a equity long short, a debt long short, or a
Hmm.
hybrid, okay, with the right derivative and sectoral caps. To
Hmm.
support all of this, since it's a very new category, both AMCs and CAMs are running continuous training sessions with distributors on SIFs to drive the understanding, to drive the growth of this new category. And I'm also seeing Cafe Mutual, like Nishant, I see that you're also doing lots of sessions, lots of blogs, lots of articles. I'm sure the industry will be very, very thankful to you for doing all of this. So I think a combination of all of this, Nishant, okay, will make SIFs more simpler and accessible for all the distributors, is my own view, Nishant.
Great, great, great. So, yes, some RMs tell MFDs that hybrid SIFs are arbitrage plus plus product, which makes MFDs hesitant to sell them to avoid complicating their client's investment journey or investing life. So, what's your take on this?
I keep hearing this, Nishant, when, say, I'm presenting this to the AMC CEOs or the sales heads, etc. But the arbitrage plus plus tag is actually underselling hybrid SIFs. Okay, I'll tell you why. See, if we take the arbitrage funds, they primarily exploit the cash and the futures mispricing. Okay,
Mm,
and they are almost fully hedged. Okay, and
mm,
what is their target? A liquid fund like volatility is what arbitrage funds are targeting and exploiting.
mm,
Now, let us take the SIFs. For example, the hybrid long short SIFs, like what we have seen already in SBI Magnum and Tata Titanium, which has gotten released, they can combine multiple things. Okay, one is the core equity plus arbitrage. That is one. And the
mm,
second is a significant portion in debt, REIT, and INVIT as part of the mix. And third, which is not there in arbitrage, the 25% unhedged derivative shorts for tactical positioning. So these are different, okay, in the hybrid long short SIFs, very different from arbitrage. So
mm,
I would again take an example of an arbitrage fund. See, it's like a goods train, steady, slow speed, okay, and low volatility, safe. But a hybrid SIF is like your Rajdhani, okay, better brakes, still safe than an all equity train, okay, like an arbitrage, but meaningfully and much faster than a goods train, Nishant.
great, great example, Sayed. So, since SIFs are a relatively new asset class, and many products appear similar, right? So we have couple five SIFs now, and their strategy, their product description all look similar. In such a scenario, how can MFDs shortlist and evaluate SIFs for their clients?
Okay. So, evaluating and SIFs for your clients. Okay.
Yeah, which
So there are
product
few.
yeah, basically?
Got it. Got it. See, there are few things. Okay. I would give a very practical a few points, maybe 3 or 4 points, kind of a checklist. One is the strategy clarity on the investment strategy. It is very important to know whether that SIF scheme that you are looking at is equity long short, hybrid long short, debt long short. What is it oriented to? Check the ICID and ensure that the SIF is doing one thing really well, okay, and not everything very vaguely. That is number one. Clarity on the strategy.
Mm,
Second, the downside track record. I was talking about SIFs doing well both when the market is going up and down. That's where it is very important to look at the downside track record also. Okay, in the past volatile periods, okay,
mm,
especially on downside, have these funds behaved in a manner which SIF is promising? That is number two. Number three, to play this game, okay, you need the right batsman and the right bowler.
mm,
The AMC pedigree and the fund manager's pedigree, very important. Okay, has the AMC run quant or derivative or hybrid strategies before? Okay, for example, SBA and Tata all come in with a prior experience in hybrid derivative strategies. So please look at the pedigree.
mm,
And maybe one or two more. The liquidity part and the structure part. Look at whether it is open-ended or interval-based. Okay, because many hybrid SIFs are open-ended with a T+2 liquidity. And some use interval structures with exchange listing. So look at the liquidity part, structure part also. Finally, I would say, obviously look at the TER. Okay, and it is capped at 2.25%. Okay, as against PMS. Okay, which can charge for your fixed fee, performance fee, etc. Okay, so check if the expected alpha justifies this TER. So I would say that when you are shortlisting and when you are evaluating SIFs for your own understanding, so that you are able to speak to your clients, okay, very confidently and with authenticity, look at the strategy, look at the track record, look at the pedigree of the fund manager and the AMC, check on the liquidity part and the paisa vasool part on the fee. These are the things I would recommend, Nishant, for the mutual fund distributors to look at the product to understand it better.
Very insightful pointers that you have given to distributors. And talking about the next question, so there is some ambiguity around risk profiling. So, will MFDs be required to conduct a separate risk profile for SIFs first? And if yes, how should they approach it and how can they ensure product suitability?
Yeah. I think here I should speak very fast and say mutual funds are subjected to market risk. Okay. Having said that, okay. So SEBI, okay, has kept SIFs also under the mutual fund umbrella. Okay. And flagging it as higher complexity and derivative use with 25% cap on shorting and sectoral, etc. SEBI has also specifically said, okay, that it has to be a separate brand, a separate logo, a separate website or a web page. The SOA show it clearly, etc. All of that has happened. Having said that, there is no separate law. Okay, it is the word to underline, Nishant. I know your blog on this in Cafe Mutual from SEBI or AMFI. Okay, forcing a new risk profiler only for SIFs. Okay, not it. But the spirit is clear. If you are recommending a higher risk or a more complex product, okay, the suitability process, as the way I would put it, is a suitability process should be sharp. What do I mean by suitability process? You should add two more layers. Apart from the mutual fund risk profiling that you do for your investors, add two more layers. Confirm that the client has understood that the returns may come from both direction and mispricing. And they have understood that shorting and short positions are going to be used. Ensure that part. I would say that is one more layer to add. Second layer to add is, can the client handle the 10 lakh minimum rule? Because if the market moves and takes them below that and they want to take out money, and when they are taking out money, if it should not fall below the 10 lakh threshold, okay, trying to do a small partial redemption. So clients should be aware of these two layers, okay, on the product, how it works, and also the balance thresholds. So I would say a combination of this is required in addition to the typical risk profiling to ensure that the clients are made well aware of the product suitability for them, Nishant.
Okay, great. So, Sayed, what are the biggest misconceptions MFDs have about SIS and how can they be corrected?
Yeah, we just concluded five Elevate distributor meets that CAMS runs, okay, in the five metros. Okay, in the last 30 days, we have run it in Mumbai, Delhi, Kolkata, Bangalore, and Chennai. And you asked about biggest misconceptions. Okay, and I truly like the word biggest being inserted here because there are many misconceptions, Nishant. For example, SIFs are like alternate investment funds. Too risky is misconception number one, according to me. Because the reality is these are SEBI regulated under the MF framework, strict diversification, strict leverage, derivative caps, new risk bands, okay, and portfolio disclosures. So, unlike many AF strategies that can be far more concentrated and illiquid, okay, SIFs are very different from AFs from a risk standpoint. And second misconception, SIFs are only for crores, crore plus investors. Here we know the reality is different. It is minimum 10 lakh per investor per AMC at a PAN level. So it makes it accessible, okay, to affluent but not ultra rich investors. Okay, it is exactly the mid ticket group, okay, using the large MF portfolios today. That's the reality, that it's not for crore alone. Third misconception, if I put this money in SIF, my money will get logged. Okay. Again, going back to the first misconception, see, this is like EMF, not like AF. So you have a T plus 2 liquidity in many cases, all the open-ended cases. Only interval or close-ended strategies will need listing and fixed windows, etc. So this is exactly how an equivalent analogy will be in online payments. Okay, earlier people used to get scared of making payments online. They were saying, oh, no, it's very unsafe, etc. Till all these UPA and QR codes came in, okay, made it very simple, very regulated, with a clear framework. So it all became very clear. And what happened to the adoption? It exploded. Okay, so that's exactly what is going to happen when these misconceptions are understood and thrown away and the reality sets in everyone's mind, Nishan.
Okay, great. So, Sayed, how do you see SIFs evolving in the next 2 to 3 years, and what opportunity will this create for distributors?
Okay. See, our own deep research in CAMS indicated that this can become a 5 lakh crore AUM category in the next 3 years and
Mm,
possibly a 10 lakh crore in 5 years. Having
mm,
said that, we are very optimistic about it. And let us look at the reality because these deep research and estimates were done, say, 6 months before. In reality, if a brand new category touches 2000 crore plus AUM in a single launch month, just in October, with just a handful of schemes. It's not hard for us to imagine, Nishant, that it can become a 50,000 to a lakh crore category from an
mm,
year, okay,
mm,
within maybe a year from now, because we are talking about 15 or 20 AMCs lining up their launch with multiple strategies and also the distributors on this call and others gaining more comfort. So it's definitely going to be a 50,000 to a lakh crore kind of a category. So more important is for the distributors, what does this evolution mean? New playbook, okay, new areas to play, new playbooks where you have your core MF and you can talk to your investors about a satellite SIF portfolio also for HNI investors. Two, your game of advisory is going to change. It's going to be strategy led. Okay. And it will automatically deepen your client stickiness. But for that, you need to be a wealth architect. Okay. And
mm,
you need to be clear about what you are selling. It's not a buffet, it's an a la carte French cuisine that you
mm,
are selling. So you need to know about it so that the stickiness can improve. And number three, higher ticket size, a higher wallet share,
mm,
because each HNI family that you talk to, it is possible that they are currently in direct equity, currently in covered calls, okay,
mm.
or in unadvised derivative exposures. All those can come to you. So SIFs will evolve into a 5 lakh crore AUM, okay, in the next, say, 3 years with more hybrids and more interval schemes coming in. And for MFDs, okay, I'm very optimistic that there'll be a 20 to 30% commission uplift for MFDs. When I'm saying MFDs, I'll go back to the ones who are not waiting and watching to early MFDs. Early is the word to note. And distributors will definitely gain, Nishant. I am very optimistic with this niche HNI advisory, cross selling to the MF clients, okay, and scaling. So that's where
Great,
my optimism lies.
great, great, great. Sayed, what kind of investors should not be recommended SIFs?
Very good question. Okay, we are talking about inclusion and expansion till now. Okay, and your question is now on exclusion. Okay, but because sometimes in life, it is also important to say no, okay, as to say yes.
Mm,
There are clear no segments, or please don't disturb these investor kind of people. First is first time investors
mm,
who have not seen a full market cycle. Okay, and they're still building a basic MF discipline of understanding how it works, understanding the volatility, etc. Please don't trouble them with SIFs. Number two, very conservative retirees, okay, who are depending on their monthly cash flow, okay, from debt funds or annuities. Please don't ask them to play this game.
mm,
Number three, investors who cannot stick to the 10 lakh threshold. Okay. And if they need to get there, if they have to disrupt their emergency funds or essential goals, please don't trouble them. Okay. Go to only people who can afford this and stay there at 10 lakhs. And the last one is clients who get very anxious, okay, with
mm.
standard hybrid volatility, okay, especially since you're going to play the equity long short game, still it is like an equity risk band, okay, so we need to watch out. So in summary, please don't disturb the first time people, don't disturb retirees, don't suggest SIFs for people who cannot afford to stay at least with a 10 lakh threshold, and too anxious clients who cannot wait, okay, who cannot be patient. And if you know from experience, better not to sell SIFs to them.
Thanks for this much needed clarity, Sayed. So, I wanted to know that what are the three practical steps that MFDs can take this month to start their SIF journey very confidently?
In this month,
Yeah,
okay, so if you're saying this month, we are already on 16th December. So I would say maybe,
16
yeah,
something maybe.
yeah, I would have loved for all the distributors to enter into New Year completely prepared. Okay, but the game is slightly longer because we said the first step you have to clear the exam. Okay, and that's a 21-day challenge that I was talking about. So
Mhm.
first, please go step one, block your 21 days, at least some 2-3 hours a day, clear the exam. That is step one. Step two, curate a 3 SIF watch list. That will be step two. What do I mean when I say that? Take one equity long short, one hybrid long short, and one more conservative hybrid from the current SIF offerings in the market. Read everything thoroughly. Read their ICID thoroughly, understand their derivative exposure range, understand the risk band of each of this, understand the historical. I spoke about the simulated drawdowns, etc. in an earlier question. Do all of that homework, curate yourself, hands on, with your own hands. Curate a 3 SIF watch list. I would say that is step two. That will take at least a week. And next step is don't go and cast the net over all the clients. Select 5 right fit clients and run pilots with them. When I'm saying that, identify 5 HNIs. Don't go to the investors, the don't touch investors that I spoke about to your earlier question. Identify 5 HNIs, or it could also be emerging HNI millennials, okay, who have more than 50 lakhs in financial assets. Explain to them about a MF plus a 10 to 20% SIF satellite, okay, which is there, and allocating money to that. Document the conversation that you are having with each of these HNI investors so that you can put this for use when you speak to future clients. So, in summary, pass the exam, curate a watch list with 3 SIFs doing deep dives, and having deep client conversations. Okay, are the 3 practical steps I would suggest, Nishant, in the next, say, 30 days.
Great ideas, Syed. So I can see a lot of questions are pouring in, but I want to ask one last question from you. How
Okay.
can technology platform like CAMS help accelerate MFD's readiness for SIF distribution?
Okay. So one very good thing that CAMS did was on the first day of the launch of the first SIF, our platforms were open for business. Our digital platforms, MyCAMS for investors, Yates 360 for distributors, GoCorp for corporates, they were all live. Okay, and they are very actively used in the SIF investment space from day one, okay, of the SIF launch, which happened to be the SBI Magnum Fund. Number two, we have also enabled APIs, okay, on the AMC digital platforms for online transactions, exactly mirroring mutual funds. We spoke about the simplicity. Okay, we have done that very well. The third part, our platforms offer instant KYC, okay, very seamless payments through CAMS Pay and threshold monitoring, okay, and right set of distributed dashboards and reports. And what we are also doing, Nishant, is beyond the technology part. I spoke about the distributor meets that we are doing in all the cities under the umbrella of CAMS Elevate, where we are covering SIF as a key topic in all the discussions. So all this combined together, Nishant, okay, is enabling a very smooth onboarding, okay, for investors and distributors to SIF. And it has been proven in the way the launches have happened in SBI and Tata, and the way 10 more AMCs supported and serviced by CAMS are launching SIF in the next quarter. Okay, so this is exactly how CAMS is enabling through its top class technology platform, again, accelerating the mutual fund readiness and the environment readiness for SIFs.
Great. Good to know that CAMS has been doing so much of thing for MFDs, and I request all the MFDs to try and get maximum out of these training programs. So now, Syed, let's take some questions from audience. So Sumanas wants to understand how to deal with the situation where investor come to me and ask that he want to redeem MF and shift money to SIS.
Yeah, see, yeah, no, it's a question is good. Okay. Now, what we need to do is we need to remember that number one, the switch between MF to SIF is not allowed. Okay, there's no automated switch allowed. And number two, I was talking about the evaluation, okay, which needs to happen on the product in detail, okay, on what we are talking about, okay, the multi-level evaluations that we need to do to understand what the product is made of. Okay, if you can look at the strategy part and the track record part, the pedigree part, liquidity structure part, etc., and also understand where the investor is coming from. Okay, and always important, okay, to ensure that the SIF part remains as a 10 to 20% satellite on top of the current MF. Okay, is something that I would strongly recommend. So don't cannibalize MF. Potentially, AF Cat 3s is one, okay, where there are AMCs which are looking at their current Cat 3 investors, talking to them because of the tax difference between the AF PMS and MF. Okay, so that is one space that I would recommend looking into, so that the investors who want to migrate or shift, etc., for tax reasons, and new investors in Cat 3 may have a better option with SIF.
Okay. So Chitturu Ramana wants to understand what should be the ideal time frame to invest in SIF equity and SIF hybrid.
See, the minimum that you should recommend, okay, is 5 years. And because you need to allow the fund manager to go through those cycles. Okay, no point trying to suggest something or promise something about a quick 1 or 2 year returns. We should allow 5 years, okay, for the investment to mature, grow, see its cycles, and for SIF to deliver value. So the answer, Nishant, is 5 years.
And any expected return in line with the mutual fund?
Both
No one
you
can.
and me, yeah, both you and me are on an online webinar, which is being recorded. So we all know very well that we should not be promising. Having said that, in the arbitrage part, I spoke about this going beyond an arbitrage plus plus product. Okay, so whatever is happening in the arbitrage space or the debt space or in the BAF space, etc., my own conviction is it'll be much better than that.
Great, great. So Lakshmana Swami wants to understand how to attend the Elevate training in Chennai when it is happening next time.
Okay. So what we will do is thank you for asking this question. Okay, and we will make a note of it. I know this is recorded, so we'll make a note of it. We have a distributor WhatsApp community. Okay, so if you have not already enrolled to the community, the link is there through our website Scams Online. So you can register in that WhatsApp community, and we'll continue to publish. Okay, when the next meets are being conducted, and you can register yourself. So
Okay.
that's the way to attend it, Mr. Lakshmana.
So one valid fear that has come from Sumanas. So he says that the commission from MFs and SIFs are somewhat similar. Then why to recommend SIS which do not have any track record, as well as if something goes wrong, then credibility of investors would be at stake. What is your comment?
Yeah. I answered the question of the misconceptions regarding the high risk. Okay,
Hmm.
and I think I did an elaborate explanation of why it is a misconception because of the tight regulations, tight controls, and the caps which are there for what is unhedged and sectoral derivatives, etc. What is the cap? So that is one thing that we should make a note of when we are talking about risks and worry. The second part is now look at say how it has happened in other countries abroad, okay, for similar funds which have happened, which have its own success stories. Having said that, the ticket size makes it very attractive for the mutual fund distributors to come in, okay, and vis-a-vis EMF, to answer Sumana's question on why should I get in here, because it gets you a 10 lakh ticket size to come in. And are people ready, okay, to come in? Obviously yes, because in the first month itself there are people who have invested for 2005 crores, okay, with 10,000 plus people investing. It clearly shows that there is a demand. And all our deep analytics and research shows that it will be a 1 lakh crore AUM category in the next 1 year. So if you want to be part of that 1 lakh crore journey with a good ticket size and HNIs being there, and if you want to be the first set of people, okay, who are driving it and winning vis-a-vis competition, this is a place to be in, Sumanas.
Okay. So yes, Rajesh wants to understand that will SIF will have a hurdle rate kind of setup, performance link fee.
No, it does not. Okay, it does not. It is exactly similar to EMF. Okay, and it follows the 2.25% TER to begin with, and then it slides down. So that's how it is.
Okay, okay. And so how to get information on SIFs to curate data or to do research? I think Amphi will provide us in some time.
Yeah, Amphi does provide,
It is
and also
providing it.
the question is becoming more, say it's becoming more open book now, right? Whereas more AMCs are launching SIF, we have a clear view into their ISIDs, into their portfolios that they are using, etc. So I think I would start there. Okay, looking into first is reading those books, which will help us understand, give the theoretical basics, and the second is going through the ISIDs and going through the portfolios will give a very clear understanding of how the manufacturing is happening.
Mm. Okay, okay, okay. The client are there in the performance system. So how to deal with a situation when there is no performance history and client is asking for it?
No, I agree. So that's where, say, we have two options. Okay, one is wait and watch and lose. Okay, like what I was mentioning at the beginning. Okay, so that's the risk that we need to take in the absence of any historical performance to support. And number two, looking at it closely and looking at all the topics that we discussed today on this being very moderate in terms of risks. Okay, and the sophistication that it brings in, etc. We have to weigh the risk versus opportunity, okay, that is available here, and take the plunge. Like what I was mentioning, our own deep analytics on the theoretical part, okay, and what we are seeing on the ground as the numbers are landing and the AMCs are launching, and what we are seeing, okay, with 10 more AMCs lined up, etc., I'm sure it is not just scams, okay, and the AMCs across the ecosystem, okay, there has been some, say, deep studies and, say, deep discussions would have happened, okay, and comparison with what has happened globally, all of that has happened before launching. So I think it's a question of, say, trust, where very soon, okay, the next few months, we'll have a lot of case studies to support. So in the
Mm.
meantime, it will be a good idea to be prepared and be ready for it and
Mm.
start doing those pilots that I was recommending.
Okay. One interesting question has come from Siddharth. He wants to know the of the 3,000 crore, how much has come from distributor and how much has come from direct? I think major part is distributor, but you may comment.
Yeah, no, you would love to say hear an yes from me. Okay, the answer is 50% came through direct.
Okay. Mhm.
Okay,
Okay.
and I can give the remaining split, but I would encourage the distributors to get ready so
Mm.
that the remaining split, if I give also, you may want to hear much better numbers. Okay,
Mm.
because lots of the remaining, okay, the remaining 50% also came through exchanges,
Mm.
and then a small portion to begin with has come from channel partners and distributors. So it is also because the number of distributors who were ready, okay, was very limited. Okay, I always say that. This favorite numbers of mine, which is 248 distributors being ready as of 31st July. When I'm saying
Mm.
ready, cleared the exam, registered for SIF, 248 as of 31st July. And if I take a number as of mid of last week, the
Mm.
number was more than 3,500.
Mm.
So it has been a 10x growth in terms of number of distributors who have cleared the exam and registered in Amphi. Okay, and we run the Amphi shop. Okay, we take care of the Amphi systems, Amphi portal, and we are servicing Amphi as one of our prestigious clients. And every 20 minutes, okay, or every 20th minute, we are getting a new SAF registration in our Amphi back office. So that
Okay.
shows the kind of interest which is there in this category, Nishant,
Mm.
and the need to go for it now.
Okay, great. So I'll take one last question since we have only 1 minute left. So what should be the ideal allocation to SIFs as well as mutual fund in
Yeah,
a client's portfolio?
yeah. I think I mentioned this some twice during our discussion today.
Yeah.
My
Mm.
own view is 20% to begin with. Okay,
Mm.
it'll be a satellite portfolio where it'll be an 80% on MF, 20% in SIF to begin with. Is my own recommendation.
Mm. Got it, got it. So, all right, we have come to an end to this interesting session. Thank you so much, Syed, for your valuable time and inputs. You have given a lot of food for thought, lot of clarity. You have addressed, I think, all the concerns of distributors related to SIF. Thank you for that.
Thank you, Nishant. Thanks for again for having me here and sharing my inputs. And thanks to everyone who attended the session today. And I hope that you found it useful. I'm always available. Okay, you can connect with me on LinkedIn, and we can take any questions forward from there. Or Nishant and Cafe Mutual are always there for any help or support that you will need. Thank you very much.
Great, great. And finally, I thank each one of you for being such a wonderful audience. Guys, this webinar will become live very soon on our YouTube channel and Cafe Mutual website. So do follow us for more such exciting content. Thank you so much once again. Have a lovely day at work, guys. Bye.